Hello, and welcome to another Scottish mountain walking guide. In today's video, I'll explain the route taken while showing a 3D flyover for the route. This is followed by the full walk time-lapse with video and commentary from the walk. For today's walk, I've returned to the Cruach mountain range to climb Beinn Tulaichean and Cruach Àrdrain from Inverlochlarig. The total distance for today's walk is 12.4 kilometres with 1,073 metres of ascent. In summer conditions, it's expected to take around 5 hours to walk. The car park is at the end of a quiet and narrow, winding single-track road. Parking is free, there are no height restrictions, and you can probably fit around 12 cars. It's around 2 hours drive from both Glasgow and Edinburgh. Starting from the car park at the end of the public road along this single track road, continue heading west. The road changes from a tarmac road to a gravel road right at this point, and you follow that road. Go by a few little cottages, follow the bend in the road down here and cross the river here on this bridge. Once you've crossed the river, you're going to cross over a fence using a stile and then walk along a grassy path. That path will join back up to the gravel road. You've simply avoided walking through the farm at this point. There's a small hydropower station here that you pass as you join back up to the gravel road. And then shortly after joining that road, you'll see a grassy track go to a gate in the fence here. So follow that track, go through the gate. Immediately after passing through the gate, you're going to turn to your right and cross a little stream. From this point, all the way up the side of the mountain, there is no clear path. It looks a very steep and craggy mountain, and it almost looks like it would be impossible to climb up here. The good news is that none of this is very exposed. It is quite steep. Once you get up to about halfway, you'll come to a fence line and you'll see a gate, a large farmer's cattle gate. The gate itself is wired shut, so you cannot open the gate, but you can easily step over the fence to the right hand side of that gate. And once you reach that gate, there is a clear path that continues up the mountain from there, and it works its way up through the crags, and it's quite an easy path to follow and an easy path to climb, although all of this is quite steep. You'll see on the satellite imagery that there are a couple of large boulders around about here, so you head for those boulders and from there you just continue straight up. You'll see some crags and you're aiming towards the left hand side of those crags right about here, and just before that, I think it's around about here, you'll cross the fence next to the gate. Follow that path up through the crags as it ascends and just continue to follow that path, and you're now heading north-northwest. And you'll go up along the ridge line and then eventually come to the first summit. From that summit, you continue in the same direction, going along the ridge line, descending about 120 metres down to the bealach. Continue in the same direction, and now you're going to rise quite steeply up the north side of this bealach. Again, none of this involves any scrambling. It's quite steep, but it's not difficult to climb up. So you'll make your way up this path until it's just about here and it'll start to drop off. When you see it starting to descend straight ahead of you, you should be able to see on your right hand side a clear path going up to the summit as you're heading northeast, more east than north. You'll come up to a little top here, and the thing to be careful of, especially in the cloud, is the first top is not the summit. It actually descends quite a bit, probably about 10 metres here, down and then back up the other side. So if it's in heavy cloud, you might just think you're dropping off the end, but you do have a little drop, then back up the other side. To return, you simply retrace your steps. You're going to head southwest from the summit, but more west than south. Come back down to this point where you turn to the right, and this time you're going to turn to your left. And one thing to take care of when you're descending here, there's a little cairn here and a well-worn track that's going down this way, and this way was more clear and well defined on the day I did the walk than the path I actually ascended the mountain on. So just take care not to go down that track and take you off the wrong side of the mountain, but continue heading south-southeast. Follow that back down to the bealach. And when you get to this point, there is a small cairn, and that indicates the descent route. So from here you want to head east. Follow this path down. Now this section is not very clear. The path is not very clear in this section. And at this point I still had some snow. It did fade away, the snow sort of disappeared around about here. It was quite light at this point. So you're following it down, keeping to the right hand side of this little stream, but then you leave that stream and join another little stream which you cross over, and you follow that down, and again you're keeping to the right hand side of that stream. Once you get a bit further down, it gets a little bit easier, but it's still, all of this section is quite wet and boggy and very slippy. The good news is that when you get down to this bit here, you're joining another gravel track. and from there the descent back down to the car park is about 3.5 kilometres. Very easy walk. You simply follow that gravel road back down to the point that you joined the gravel road next to the little hydropower station. Walk down the path that goes down the river here, avoiding the farm, join back up to the gravel road, cross the bridge and just follow that path back out to the car park. Good morning, it's 8:30 in the morning. I'm at the car park for the start of the walk for Beinn Tulaichean. There's a little public car park and a little building here. From here you're going to head west along the single track road and you can see Beinn Tulaichean straight ahead. The summit is clear at the moment, but it is quite windy today and the gusts are even going to be up to about 50 miles per hour. So we're going to head west. We just go straight up to the left and then up the ridge to the summit up there. There is no path going up the front of the mountain here. We're going to follow this path round to the right, then cut off. Hopefully there'll be a cairn or some indicator, otherwise I'll just be using the GPS to show where to leave this road. But we're going to go straight up. It's basically straight up here, up towards the ridge. Just try and find the easiest route up that face. And then once you get onto the ridge, there is a path further up in the snow line there. Takes you along the top of the ridge line. Descend down to the bealach, then we go up to the second top, which is in clouds at the back there. The descent should be a little bit easier. We come down straight ahead. We come to this sign for the hill walkers. We bend to the left, continue to follow the road, cross that bridge over there, and then you'll bend back to the right and go up the other side of the river. It's quite windy. Wind is coming from the east heading towards the west, so up on the ridge there it should be on my back, make it a little bit easier. And then the descent is down the valley straight ahead up there. So I'm hoping to get some protection from the mountains from the wind on the way back when I'm walking into it. But it does sound quite windy. As soon as you cross the bridge, there's a little stile here. We're going to go up this path for a little bit and then turn off to the left and go up onto the mountain. Just shortly after passing that little hydro station building, and you've come onto this good gravel track, you want to go up to the left and go through that gate. Hopefully there'll be sort of signs of where, because this is where the path is, but there isn't meant to be a clear path going up here. We'll just go up the sort of least steep section. I think it's pretty much right up the middle. I've just stepped over that fence and now I'm aiming towards those two boulders up there, and then from there head a little bit to the right and just go right up the middle. It looks like there might be signs of wear there, but that looks to be about the least steep section, and head up. I'm going to head up to the centre of the frame there, to the left hand side of that little crag there. Just head right up the middle. The wind is picking up. This might be quite unpleasant. So it's straight up ahead. I've just been enjoying getting out of the wind for a little moment. starting to gain some altitude, have a little bit of a windbreak here. It's a steep slope, there's no exposure on the slope, so it's not at all scary to come up. There's lots of sort of footprints in the grass, probably from the sheep, also from some walkers. You can see there's 3 walkers coming up behind me down there. But it is a bit windy. Chance the top might be clear. You'll come to this gate. The gate itself doesn't open, it's been tied up shut. Just step over the fence to the right of the gate. And now you can see more of a defined path. I'm just going to follow that straight up there. Believe it or not, I've got a slight break from the wind here, so I'm going to put my fleece on whilst I can still keep a hold of my jacket. Currently at 560 metres, the first summit's at 920 or thereabouts, so 350 metres or so to go. So since coming up from the gate, the path has been good. Some sections will be quite wet and muddy if they weren't frozen. Easy enough to follow, nothing difficult, still quite steep. Currently sheltering out of the wind, putting on my waterproof trousers on top of my other trousers. Oh, it's very windy. It's not far to the top, but it's still a little bit to go. I'm at the summit of Beinn Tulaichean. Just a very small pile of rocks for the cairn here. It's got very windy. Although right now it's a little bit less than it has been. Not very much to see. There's a good path in this ridge. It's nice and easy to follow even in the snow. But it is a bit icy. And I think I'm going to put my snow chains on. You just keep heading west and descend down to the bealach from here. It's about 120 metres of descent down here and then another 200 metres of ascent up the other side. It's about 2 kilometres to the next summit. Let's see how the wind is. Slightly protected right now with the rocks But yeah, in the worst of the wind chill is quite a lot. About minus 10 degrees. Yeah, quite cold today. Got my snow chains on now, just like I said, just make it a little bit easier. It is a bit icy. Just looking back, coming down to the bealach, it's clearing up a little bit, but as in most cases it's getting a bit windier as well. So the next top is just up there. It's really not very far away at all. Get to the lowest point of the bealach, just ahead of where those walkers are, and then have a sharp incline up for about 200 metres, and then a bend to the right. Looks like the summit will still be inclined by the time we get there. Still got a couple hundred metres to go to the summit. I'm only about 30 metres below the summit in altitude. Got a little bit of protection at the moment from this little walk here. So I just keep going west. It's going to curve round to the right shortly. I thought I saw the summit for a moment there. Cloud's been getting a little bit lighter, and when I get to the summit I'll try and get out of the wind, have something to eat. I'll clear for a moment. You see it's just starting to descend slightly. It's at this point you want to turn to your right and head northeast. We're almost at the summit, it's just a short walk up there. Right now it's probably a little bit more protected than it is on the summit because the wind's coming from the direction. None of this has been exposed. It's been quite steep, and with the wind it's been quite tough to climb up, but it is just a path. There's no steep drops, so there's not been any concern that if you got blown over you're going to fall off. But it has been a bit challenging. So last little bit and we'll be at the top. I'm at the summit of Cruach Àrdrain. I'm hiding behind this cairn. It's a reasonable sized cairn. The wind is just ridiculous. Unfortunately there's nothing to be seen. Beinn Moor's over there to the north, and the walking is recently to the south, but quite windy. I'll have something to eat and a drink and see if it clears up. Other than that, it's retrace your steps back down to the left to the bealach, and then you can head down to the left and hopefully get out of the wind. There should be a sheltered path to walk back down to the car park. And second thoughts, it's just too windy up here, so I'm just going to head back down and I'll find somewhere down the slope that get out of the wind and then have something to eat. So I'm going to retrace your steps, heading south from the heading southwest from the summit. It's just after 11:30, so 3 hours to get to the second top. OS maps, route planner estimates it'll take about another hour and a half to get back to the car park. That'd be quite quick. We'll see how it goes. It is getting slightly brighter. back down when I turn to the right to go to the summit, so obviously this time I turn to the left and go back down to the bealach. But there's hail and snow and it's stinging in the face, so I'm going to put my ski mask on so I can see where I'm going. A little bit further ahead, ascend down to the lowest point of the bealach. The descent path goes down to the left. I'm not sure if I'll be able to video it, the wind's been really bad until this point. So if I don't, I might just stop and get a bit more time lapse so you can see the journey. But then at that point you turn left. So I'm at almost the lowest point of the bealach, and you can see a little cairn there and a clear path going off to the left. So follow this. At the bottom of this sort of steep section there's a 4x4 gravel road. After that it should be a nice easy walk out. This path is not the easiest to follow in the snow, but you keep that stream there to your left, and further ahead I can see the path over there, so I know I'm in the right direction. I'm just going to go down to that point for now. Now that I've descended down a bit, I'm out of the worst of the wind. You can just see how icy it is, how cold it is. Backpack's completely frozen up. And these snow chains, they are good at stopping you slipping on the ice, but when there's too much snow, the snow just balls up underneath and makes it more awkward from walking in, so I'm going to take them off now. The descent path down here, it's not too bad, but it is a bit slippy. Sometimes you might slip when you're not expecting it. It's a bit wet and boggy at times as well. Easy enough to follow, it's not too steep. And it's a bit out of the wind at the moment, but occasionally you get a big gust. You can see the gravel road just ahead. Easy walk out from there. Just approaching the gravel road, you can see there's a cairn there. So when you come to this road, turn to your right and then a gentle walk back out to the car park. Summit is almost clear. Once you're on this gravel track, you've got 3.5 kilometres back to the car park, all downhill, gentle walk. just coming down to where I left the road this morning. I went up through that gate and up the mountain. That top you can see back there, that's not the summit, it's a little bit to the left. From here we're going to follow this road round, and when you see that red roofed hydro station, you go down to the left, follow the path down to the bridge, cross the bridge and go out to your left. I hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, and as always there'll be more next week. In case you weren't sure, there's a sign up there saying car park to your left. Cross the stile and turn left. I'm back at the car park. Total walking time is 5 hours. Bye for now.